Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the live in-person and Zoom worship service of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Riverside. Thank you for joining us here in person, and thank you for joining us remotely by Zoom, where we will continue live streaming and posting these services on our YouTube channel for our virtual attendees. I'm Grace Preuss, a member of the worship committee, and I will be your worship associate today. Other members you will hear from include Alec Peck, who will be singing our hymns up on the slide. We welcome you to join us this morning with an open mind and an open heart, and with muted electronic devices, please. We invite you to leave your worries and defenses at the door and trust that what happens in worship is inspiring and powerful. Together, we affirm that this day and our being together can make each of us braver, more compassionate, and wiser as we begin a new day and a new week. Although our doors are open, the pandemic is not over. So while we are here, please keep your masks on and socially distance. We can speak in normal tones, but singing or chanting creates an increased risk of airborne exposure. So we ask you to refrain for the time being. We invite those of you in the sanctuary to sit back and enjoy listening to our hymns. For those of you at home, sing your hearts out. And now I invite you to sit back and take a slow, deep breath as we move into the worship hour. For our call to worship, you are welcome to read with me the mission statement of our church. Our mission is to foster a diverse religious community that celebrates life, affirms the individual, encourages spiritual growth and open thought, and works to advance social justice and environmental sustainability. Tinka Friend became a Universalist Unitarian and a member of our Universal Unitarian Church of Riverside in 1996. She found her spiritual home when she picked up a pamphlet titled Views of a UU Feminist during a fundraising event benefiting hospice. She had never heard of a church where she could be her authentic feminist self and convinced her husband, Nick, that they should attend a few services. They stayed, became involved, and joined the church. Over the years, Tinka has stepped into many leadership roles at UUCR, among them chair of the membership and the worship committees, teaching religious education classes, Green Sanctuary, and Healing Vespers. She helped form a choir and sang in it for decades. She also used her song signing skills to enrich the songs, as she does for us now. Tinka was an elementary teacher, school teacher of handicapped students for 38 years. She is an avid traveler and hopes to resume her journeys with Nick in the near future. Many cultures set aside days to remember and honor loved ones who have passed on. Family and friends gather together to pay respects and remember those who have died. Since the first COVID lockdown in 2020, many people have lost friends or family who were important to their lives. Unable to travel, we were stuck at home while loved ones were sick or dying, and we were even unable to gather for memorial services. UUCR member Tinka Friend has offered to lead this service because of her firsthand experiences of loss. The UUCR family invites you to join us in a special ceremony as we remember our loved ones and celebrate the blessings that they brought into our lives. We have two lightings of sacred flames. The first is the occupied Indigenous Peoples Remembrance candle. The second is the lighting of our own chalice, the symbol of our faith. We walk upon the traditional territories of diverse and sovereign peoples, the original people of this land, who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. This spot we occupy was first the sacred space of several groups of Indigenous peoples, including the Cahuilla, the Cupeño, and the Serrano. We, the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside, light this sacred flame as the stewards of this sacred and holy place. We are blessed with a space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be a part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. Today's reading of the chalice lighting is number 454 from Singing the Living Tradition. In our time of grief, we light a flame of sharing, the flame of ongoing life. In this time, when we search for understanding and serenity in the face of loss, we light this sign of our quest for truth, meaning, and community. Thank you, Bill. We have a tradition here at UUCR to welcome those who are visitors or perhaps returning after some time away. We know it can be uncomfortable to stand up and speak in front of others, so I will now ask for a volunteer from someone who has been here a while to tell us your name and how you found out about our church. We ask you to come up to the mic in front and speak into it directly and clearly so that everyone can hear. Do we have any volunteers today? Alec?
Good morning, my name is Alec, and a bit of a rarity, at least from what I've experienced, but I've been hopping from one UU church to another, and I've been in large congregations and small ones, and this has been a really fun experience to get to be part of this community here. So I'm really glad, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Alec. We appreciate having you here. So that's how it's done. If you are new here, a visitor or an old friend, please come up to the mic in front of the pulpit. Please let us know who you are, where you are from, and how you found out about us. Any volunteers? If there is someone online who would like to introduce themselves, please raise your hand and we will call on you. No, okay. For new guests, our visitors book is in the parish hall, so please leave your name before you leave so that we know you are here and your contact information if you'd like to know about upcoming events. For those online, the best way to get added to the mailing list is to email the church office at admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. During the service, we will mention several websites, email addresses, and phone numbers. At the end of the service, we will leave up a slide with all this information, and it is also available on our website. Chat time provides an opportunity to talk among ourselves and discuss the service leading on to various other topics. It's held on Zoom 20 minutes after the end of the service, typically around 11:30. To participate in person, join us back here in the sanctuary, but the location may change depending on safety per pandemic regulations. To participate online, you need a separate Zoom link. So please go to our website at uuchurchofriverside.org and click on chat time on the main page. Daylight saving time will end at 2 a.m. on Sunday, November 7th, and our clocks will fall back 1 hour. First Sunday lunch. Don't forget to join us next week after the service for the first Sunday luncheon. Next week, our theme will be the all-time favorite sandwiches. The congregational meeting will also be held on November 7th. Silent auction. Our silent auction is currently in progress. Last week, unique items were placed on display in the parish hall, and there was an opportunity to place bids on them. Pictures of these items are now displayed, and you still have an opportunity to bid. The winning bids will be announced at the congregational meeting on November 7th. All proceeds will go to the church. Please see Dinah or Kate for details. Fall yard sale. We will be holding a fall yard sale on Friday and Saturday, November 5th and 6th, from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the church lawn. Any sale items you may wish to contribute may be dropped off at this church office, and volunteers are also welcome. Please see Avery for details. A Course in Miracles. Starting November 13th, weekly sessions of A Course in Miracles will be held in the annex at 10 a.m. every Saturday. Please see Linda Lamboris for details. Our hymn now is Spirit of Life. If you are in the sanctuary, I invite you to sit back, close your eyes, and listen. Thank you, Tinka. This portion of our service is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished in several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you may send your checks to the church address, which is shown here. You may contribute by PayPal using the QR code, which is on the church website and also in the newsletter. Stater Brothers Market gives our church a rebate on Stater grocery cards, which we will have in church each Sunday. You get the full value, and the church also receives a percentage. Amazon cards are also available. Please donate as the Spirit moves you by whatever method works for you. Thank you for your generosity. And to those who give of their time and their talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. Will our ushers now please come forward to receive the collection? Our next hymn is From You I Receive. Please sit back quietly and enjoy.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Now I would like to introduce Tinka Friend, who will be assisted by Linda Van Voris and Avery Burrows, leading us in a day of remembrance.
Welcome. Welcome to this sanctuary, this place of sacredness and safety. There are times when we come into this room for enlightenment, for learning, for self-improvement. Other times we come for understanding, for exploration, for lively celebration. Today is not that time. Today, we come to face, to embrace, and to share the depths of our beings as we name and honor those people whose lives we hold dear to our hearts. Those who have died since the COVID lockdown in March of 2020. Some have died from this deadly coronavirus. Some died from other causes. Some were too young to leave us, and some lived long, long lives. For some, they died without us even being able to be nearby. For some, we were able to hold their hands as they left this world. Some of us have lost the most important person in our lives. Some of us have lost multiple people with little time to adjust or grieve in between. But regardless of the specific circumstances, the loss, the pain, the hole in our lives is something that we all can relate to. we can all understand. Many of us have found ourselves struggling to come to terms with the grief. We each need to look for ways to find ourselves again, to find a way to emotionally navigate through these upcoming holidays. In my personal grief journey this year, I have started to volunteer with hospice. I have found that for me, reaching out to others in service helps not only them, but it helps me. We need each other. I need you, my church community. Today, we gather to be together in community, to listen to each other, to support each other in our grief. This is a time to honor the lives of our friends and family who we miss terribly, to honor each of us in our beloved community who have struggled with the feelings of grief and loss, and to honor the memories of those who we will never forget. So I ask you to enter into this space, this sacred space, with your whole self. So in doing so, let us take a deep breath and let it out. And one more time, in and out. And let us bring forth the memory, the love, and the caring of the ones that we want to honor here today. Linda, Avery, Nick, and I maintained a monthly healing vespers in the middle of the week for over a decade here at our church. Today's healing and honoring ritual will be somewhat patterned after those services. So we have two activities you can choose from: the lighting of a small candle and or placing a stone in the small container of water right there in the center. You may come forward to do this, and we ask you to come down this aisle right here. The microphone is on this side. And there is a microphone for you to speak into. Please state the name of the person that you're honoring and their relationship to you: friend, colleague, boss, mother, brother, sister. And if you have brought an item to represent them, please place it on the ends of the table, both sides, away from the candles. Everyone will be given a minute or two to say what you cherish most about this person. Please speak loud enough into the microphone that we can all hear you. And we shall also be asking those online to participate later in the service. Those online can let us know whether they would like us to light a candle or submerge a rock while they are sharing with us who their loved one was. And I will demonstrate this after our first centering hymn, Find a Stillness.
Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. With the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower.
here on our altar for the people that I'm going to be honoring. This is my family, my mother and her children. And in this picture, there are only 3 of us still left alive. And one died the year before COVID, and then all 3 of my sisters died this past year. I light that candle for my older sister, Janet. She and I were very much alike. We liked the same things. We loved to travel. We loved meeting people. We both sang. And she moved out here and lived the last 10 years of her life here. And Kay Mowry, who was a member of our church, helped me to find a place for her in Mount Rubidoux Manor, which is a place for seniors. Janet attended this church with me several times during the first 6 months to a year that she moved to Riverside. She even sang with me in the choir here. And sadly, about 4 years before she actually passed, she developed dementia, which is really hard for family members because the body may be here, but the mind seems to be dying and you lose your loved one bit by bit. She collected frogs. And this is the last frog I gave her this last Christmas. I light this candle for my sister, Jenny. Of the 6 children, I'm the baby, I'm the youngest. She was just older than me, 4 years older than me. This is actually her ashes in a little small urn. She lived in Wichita, Kansas, and died 8 days before this past Christmas. Janet died in August of last year, 8 days after her 80th birthday. And I was unable to be with Jenny or even have the opportunity to go to see her because everything was locked down. And she had lung cancer. She actually didn't die of the lung cancer. The treatments that they were doing were going well, but her kidneys failed. And this is a tiny little skunk. This represents my 3rd sister, my last sister, the only sister I had left. And she died this last August 8th. When we were kids, we went and saw the Disney movie Bambi. And she loved the skunk in that movie called Flower. And so she started collecting skunks. And when we moved to Germany, she came back to America to get married, and she gave me her little skunk, one of her skunks named Flower. And so I've had it all this time. That's for Carol Sue. And for Carol Sue, I'm not lighting a candle. I'm actually going to put a rock in the water. Water has great power. It has the power to take things with rough edges and smooth them out. You know that if you've seen river, rocks or whatever, how smooth they are. Unfortunately, even though we were close at one time, towards the end, my sister became very withdrawn, bitter, angry. And we were estranged. I would reach out every Christmas and birthdays to try to give her a card or send her flowers, but she didn't want them. So this rock is very hard and very rough. With a lot of sharp points. I put this rock in the water in hopes that her soul and her spirit now is smooth and calm. So if anyone wants to come up to honor somebody, please do so.
Okay, I don't have a whole lot to say. I lost 3 people that I know during this period of time. And one was Ted from this congregation that many of you knew. I also lost my art teacher, Anne, and I will just share about her. She was a very quirky, opinionated person with an unfailing smile, so that even when she said, "I'm feeling cranky," she'd smile. And she took a little getting used to, but she loved art. And I never knew somebody who devoted her life so entirely to art as she did. And I miss her. And I miss the classes. And so I'd like to light a candle for her.
You can either light it yourself or we can assist you in lighting it.
Okay, so that's for Anne Bingham Freeman. And the other one, I didn't know him as well, but I really treasured him. Richard Ramos, my friend in recovery. He died shortly after he received a liver transplant that apparently did not quite take, much too young. And I grieve for him and for his wife and his daughter. So for him, I'd also like to have a candle lit. Okay, thank you.
As many of you know, I've been working as a security guard for a while. It's a good job, it suits me. Gives me a chance to think about things, sometimes too long. I light my candle, would perhaps drop one stone if I'm allowed. Because for the life of me, I light this primarily, as a security guard, you feel erosion. You feel like your sight is slowly being worn away by the problems that would make someone hire a security guard to begin with. At a time like this, I feel pretty darn eroded because the ancestors are gone and I'm holding the line. I don't feel ready most of the time, but I named two sets of names right now. James Gilbert Casey and Nancy Ellen Ketcher Casey, my parents. And for them, I light a light. For the others, Alan Peak and Donna Peak, who opened their home to me and allowed me to get restarted back in school and eventually hit the road that got me a degree. They raised my level where I was, and they lifted me up as the stone will lift the water level just a little bit. And that seemed appropriate as well.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you, Maggie. And I would ask if you would, since we don't all know each other, but I mean, if you would say your name as well, because we have some visitors here.
Yes, my name is Lauren. And ever since the COVID thing, before the COVID thing, I used to belong for about 10 years approximately to a singing group that met in Rancho Cucamonga. And we've lost 4 or 5 of those people since the COVID thing, only one of whom died of COVID itself. But we were all older people, so we were all in that age group where you start losing friends. And one of them was named Richard. And I was trying to get him to develop a friendship with a cousin of mine who is an avid amateur linguist, because it's a rather esoteric field of study, and most people will roll their eyes if you start talking about it. And so I just thought those two would really hit it off. But unfortunately, he died before they could meet. And I will miss him singing in foreign languages. It was always fun to listen to him. And the other one was the woman who was my chauffeur, because I haven't driven for several years. And she died in April of this year. And we had a celebration of her birthday, which she didn't really want to celebrate, but we did. And Steve Lawless came and played the piano for her, and at the nursing home where she was staying at the time. And she was so happy that day that I really have a wonderful memory of her. And so that's what I'll say. And if you could help me.
Thank you, Lauren.
This is for my friend Robert Harris, loved husband and friend to Mary, one of my best friends, father to our own Sarah Harris, and his also had a son, Taylor, and one of the best Santa Clauses to grace us.
Thank you, Kate.
Nick Williams. I'm lighting a candle for 2 people who passed during this COVID era. One was John Law. He's the father of my best friend since high school. We called him Pops. When my parents sold their house and moved out of town, leaving me behind, he was kind enough, him and his family, to take me in for a period of time. So I light a candle for him. And for Mary, his daughter, who also passed during this time of various medical issues. So I love them both and I miss them both.
Thank you, Nick.
Hello, my name is still Alec Peck, and through the magic of Zoom during COVID, I learned that my dad has a half-sister named Anne, whom he never talks about, and her husband, Roger Hook, died not related to COVID. He fell while he was ice skating, and apparently ice skating is how he met and he was the president of the ice skating club, and that's how they met. But I only met them through Zoom because of COVID, and now it feels like I've already lost them. So.
Thank you, Alec.
I'm still Grace Price. I lost two people that I'd like to light a candle for today. One was Jose. He was a client who became a mentor. And he always talked about how he didn't have a lot of formal education, but he built his own company. And he was the wisest person I knew. That's the first one. The second one is my friend's mom, Wendy's mom. She passed away after a long illness, and she didn't have a funeral. She had a celebration.
Thank you, Grace.
I'm Avery Burrows. I'd like to light a candle and drop a rock in the stone in the water for George Stafford, my stepfather, who had a huge heart.
Thank you, Avery.
My name is Ricky. Recently I just had a uncle pass and my grandma, well, my pops, I had surgery and stuff going on, it just keep positive, trying my better, so best I can succeed is wherever I can, It's not easy, but God gets good for it. So.
Thank you, Ricky.
I have a couple of people that I would like to be remembered. First of all, my husband David's cousin, who was diabetic and died of COVID during this time. And also one of our very old members. I don't know if all of you remember her, but Marilyn Morris. She passed on during this time. It wasn't from COVID, but she was having heart surgery and had complications from heart surgery.
Thank you, Linda.
I would like to commemorate Sandy Briggs. She was a longtime member of the church, and she was loved and acknowledged as holding yard sales at her home, and they did very well. Everyone knew that we would have regular sales there, and bless her heart.
Thank you, Avery. Before we go to our online guests, we have a poem that we wanted to read. And then after that, we will open it up for our online guests if they have anything that they would like to share, and we can either light a candle or put the rock in the water. Sometimes memories are like the rain showers sprinkling down upon you, catching you unaware, and then they are gone, leaving you warm and refreshed.
Sometimes memories are like the thunderstorm beating down on you, relentless in their downpour, and then they will cease, leaving you tired and bruised.
Sometimes memories are like shadows sneaking up behind you, following you around. Then they disappear, leaving you sad and confused.
Sometimes memories are like comforters, surrounding you with warmth, luxuriously abundant, and sometimes they stay, wrapping you in contentment. And I would like to see if there's an opportunity for anybody online that would like to share. Charlie, we can't hear you yet. So just a minute while we see about our end on the sound. We do see you though.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Well, my name is Charlie, and I'm so happy to be here because I'm good friends with Tinka and with Nick, and I'm so happy they invited us to join you. You know, I'd like to remember my mother today because she passed away on January 10th this year at the age of 99. So it's been a hard time. You know, I feel so blessed that she had 99 years and I got to spend 71 of those with her. So she was my best cheerleader and I miss her a lot, but I'm grateful for all the time we had. So if you would light a candle for her, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Hi, my name is Aubrey, and I'd like to remember a dear friend and neighbor. Ron Fallhandler, who passed away this past year from a long illness. I know his soul is at peace. I know he's at rest. And thank you for being our friend and neighbor. Thank you.
Thank you, Aubrey. Grace? Yeah, can you? It went off.
Oh.
Just shut down. I was going to say, I could read it if it shows up.
Yeah. I can read it to the mic.
Okay.
So this is from Varia. Hello, my name is Varia. I would like to remember my grandma. She was a mother to me and my twin sister, Serena. She didn't have to take care of us, but she chose to, and I wouldn't have picked anyone else as a better fit for the job to put up with me and my sister for as long as she did. I'd like to put a stone in the water for her, hoping now that she has passed and will have found peace. I'd also like to remember my Uncle Bo. He was such a funny and stubborn person. My only regret is that he and my grandmother, that is, his mother, drifted apart. I only hope that in the afterlife, their energies have found each other and forgiven one another. I'd like to place a stone in the water as well for my next to my grandmother's, as I hope they will be together again.
Thank you, Varia.
Yeah.
Weensy.
We have from Wincy. I'd like to light a candle for Corey. I'd also like to put a stone in the water for my Uncle Bo, Dallas, Mulana, I think.
Leroy.
Mulanax. Okay. Thank you. He was the best uncle and always helped us around the house. From Alan, in December, my father, John Elmer, died. In January, my sister, Marianne, died. And 2 days ago, my friend Robbie died. Yes, and from Serena also, this is about Corey, whom we heard earlier. I'd like to remember my friend Corey Rust, who passed away when he was 18 from suicide.
And there was one more candle. Thank you. Is there anyone else online? Yeah. Okay, I would at this time like to open it up for anybody who had a loss before the COVID time. So if there's someone in your life that was meaningful to you that you lost the year before or sometime before that, I would offer this opportunity for you to come forward as well.
For David, I would like to honor his dad who died about 3 years ago of prostate cancer. And then my dad who died about, 20 years ago from a heart attack. And then my mom who died of cancer long time ago. I would also, Avery, I can light my own, thank you. But I would like to honor those people as well.
Thank you, Linda. Oh, and thank you, Alan. And thank you, Weensy.
You know, time is kind of crazy during this whole thing. So I'm not sure when we lost her, but we did recently lose Cordy Edwards from our church. And I met Cordy the first service I went to here I went to chat time afterwards and met her there. And we had a really moving service about incarceration and young folks that were incarcerated and or who had been incarcerated. And Cordy said, well, this is all really sad and everything, but what the hell can we do about it? And that got, at the time, Eric Isom was still with us, and Livonia Corals was visiting us also that Sunday. And they told us about all of us are And that was, how I got involved with All of Us None, and ended up doing what I'm doing now, all because Courtney said, "What the hell can we do about it?" So I miss her a lot. She was quite a light. So
Thank you, Adam. And Adam, Adam, would you also light a candle for Eric Isom?
Also his partner, Diana.
Yes,
Diane.
that's right.
Nick Williams, I light a candle for the passing of my mother 2 years ago after a long battle with Alzheimer's and dementia. I miss her a lot, although I still visited her a couple of times a year. She lived out of town. And by the time we left, she had shown a lot of improvement and just remembering who I was from day to day, and that was very gratifying.
I had forgotten. This is like a remembrance order of service from a memorial service of a friend of mine, Nick, that I worked with in community organizations, a lot of the same community outreach and organizations that I am involved with, he was involved with. And I have here an apple and avocado, and that is to represent food, because he was so involved with the Riverside Food Co-op that I was a part of as well, and the Riverside Food Alliance. He wound up writing and getting a $2 million grant in order to try and bring healthy local food to to some of our disadvantaged residents that live within the city. So he did die of COVID, way too young. So I have this for him. You can light it for me. Okay. It's not on here. Okay, I think this is from Weensey. I'd like to put a rock in the water for my birth mother, Shay, for my birth mother, Shayan Mullinax. And I'm sorry, but it shrunk down. I don't know what happened. I touched it to scroll it up in it. Oh, okay. She is also the mother of my twin, Varia. She had a very hard life, as she was homeless for most of it due to her drug use. I hope that in death, she is peaceful now. Please say this for me and my twin, Varia. Thank you. So it was a rock in the water. Thank you, Weensey. Okay, is there anyone? I would like, Linda, if you would light, there's a red candle there. Would you light that red candle now? And I light this candle for all of the 5 million people around the world who've died from COVID. That number is just too great to even fathom. They all had lives, they all had families, they all had dreams and aspirations. And then the last candle, Linda, I light this candle for all of the people in our lives, in the lives of our wider community, in the lives of the people who have joined us online that perhaps were not mentioned, that may they also be at peace now. Thank you so much for this part of our ritual. We will now be going into our hymn, our closing hymn, which is Come Sing a Song With Me, which I hope leaves us with a little bit of hope.
Come sing a song with me, come sing a song with me, come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
For our benediction this morning, we have a Jewish prayer that's from our hymnal, but it will be projected up here. I will read the first line, and it's a responsive reading, so I would like all of you at home as well as in the sanctuary to read the line that is in bold that says, "We remember them." In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall be a part of us as we remember them. Earlier, right after the collection, we had the hymn, "From You I Receive." I'd like us to think of that in a little bit different way rather than the money coming in and going out. So, from you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. I think that's a beautiful statement about our church. I think it's a beautiful statement about us coming together in community. This is what it means to be part of a spiritual community. As people who have been blessed with the capacity to give and receive love, we are forever changed by the experience of death in our lives. Giving and receiving love is a valuable part of our church. Reaching out to others, being there when one of us needs help or support, helping each other through difficult times. I thank you. I truly thank you for what you have shared today. I thank you for bringing your real self to this service. I thank you for allowing yourself to be surrounded with caring and compassionate people. And this morning will deepen the connection that we have with each other. I am honored by your openness. Namaste, amen, and blessed be.
Thank you, Tinka, for leading us in this special service of remembrance. We hope it brings comfort, support, and hope to all of you in our spiritual family. Judging from all the candles that have been lit, it's obvious that it was a very necessary and healing service. Thank you, Tinka. As always, there will be an opportunity to reflect and share in fellowship in the parish hall after the service. Tinka also has a cake out there in remembrance of all the people that we hold in our hearts.